So this presentation is continuing the sequence about making frequency distribution tables. Last time we had made this table here essentially by hand. We made up the class boundaries doing a hand calculation. We used Sturgis's rule to decide how many classes to use. And we made the classes of equal width to cover an extended range from 0 to 9 inches. And we let Excel do this arithmetic for us to work out the class mark and the class width and the percent frequencies. But to get the frequencies, we had to count manually. We had to go down our list of diameters of trees, and for each tree we had to decide which class does it belong to, and the first 3 trees belonged to class A, so the frequency of class A is 3. And that's a lot of work, and it's not feasible if you have a big list of data. And so fortunately, Excel has a tool that can help with this. In a previous video, I showed you how to install the data analysis tool pack, and so you only have to do that once normally, and so it should still be in your Excel installation if you're using the same computer. So I've clicked on the data menu across the menu bar at the top. I clicked data, and over on the right hand side there's this data analysis tool. I'm going to click that, and the dialog pops up. And the tool that I want to use is the histogram tool. And making these tables is a step towards making your histogram. So I click the histogram tool, and I click OK. Now, for the input range, that is the data, the variable. That's the diameters of the oak trees that we want to put into classes and count. So I can click this little selector, see where it says input range, and then there's a place where you could just type the cell range, but you could also click this little arrow button on the right hand end of that, and you can go over and select, in this case, the diameters of the oak trees. And then you click the little nub again, and you go back to the histogram tool dialog. And now I'm going to click on bin range. So what Microsoft calls a bin, everybody else in the world calls an upper class boundary. So I'm going to go over here and select the upper boundaries of the classes. And so the way it's going to interpret those then is that any individual in your input range, any datum that's less than 1.5 goes into the first class, and then from there up to 3.0 it goes in the second class, and so forth. And so that's how it will be able to count for us. I'm going to click output range over here, and for that it just wants any location with some blank space around it where it can write the output. When it's finished counting, it has to show you the answer somewhere, and it's going to paste that right into your spreadsheet. The upper left-hand corner of the region that it pastes into is what we're selecting now. So that's enough. That'll count the frequencies for us. If we click Chart Output, it will go so far as to make a frequency histogram for us. When we get around to doing our project later, we will not use a frequency histogram. We'll use a different kind. So I'm not going to click the Chart Output box right now. You can if you want to, just to see what happens. But that's not really what we're going to be using. Okay, so I click the OK button. And you see what it did for me was it counted how many individuals belong to each class. So instead of having done that by hand, I could now just copy and paste it up into my table that we made by hand. It'll mess up the formatting. I forgot to say, I should have said. In fact, let me go back and show you how to do that now. I'm going to hit Control-Z to undo this. Okay. In fact, I'm going to get rid of these numbers and pretend we don't even know the frequencies. Okay. And now if I wanted to paste it up there without harming my formatting, I would select the numbers. I would do Control-C for copy. Go over here to my home menu, go to the Paste drop down and select this Paste Values. Okay, so first I have to come over here to where I want to put it. And then I go and I say Paste Values, and then it will leave the formatting alone and only paste the numbers. And there you go. So, believe it or not, that's all I intended for this particular video. I think, however, just for fun, I will go back and show you how to let it do the frequency histogram. Just so you'll know what's available. If I click the chart output this time, leave everything the same, it'll worry that it's going to write on top of what we already wrote. I say OK. And then now it makes a histogram. And this thing requires a little formatting. If you're reading in your OLI textbook, you'll know that there should not be any gaps between the bars of a histogram. Every X value really should belong to one class or the other. See, right now it looks like a tree with a diameter, it's a little hard to interpret, but right here, halfway between 1.5 and 3.0, so that's 2.25 right here. A tree with that diameter, 2.25, according to this graph, it appears that it would not fall in any class. And so I'm going to right-click on one of the bars. I'm going to say Format Data Series. And I want to set the gap width to 0. And then histogram is not a suitable title. We want making a picture of the distribution of diameters of oak trees. Okay. And the x-axis label, that's the name of the variable, diameter, and the units of measurement in parentheses. And then the y-axis really is frequency. It's how many trees. the units of measurement are missing, individuals or trees, you can get the units of measurement for these items from your column headings in the distribution table. So when you get around to do your research paper, that should all match up. But as I mentioned, we'll use a different kind of histogram for the paper. Still, the title and the x-axis label will be the same. Okay, anyway, in the next homework coming up, you'll be asked to make a frequency histogram. And but you'll do that, the first one that you do will be done by hand on graph paper. And then we'll come back and revisit that when you want to make one in a nice format for inclusion in your research paper. Okay, so I believe that's all for this video.